To explain Vettaths, I think I need to go back to how it started, like all the way from the beginning. So this property was my father's property, and I think the project came to me in 2017, and I was working with a studio called Playgroup Studio in Goa. And at that point, the requirement was basically a house which had 2 floors and could be used as 2 different houses. And that's how the work began. So I was working with the principal architect there, and it took about 2 years to complete this house. And at that point, there was nothing that we knew was, we didn't know what we were going to do with this property.
So I'm actually the first architectural or an intern working at Vettaths, and I came here to do my architectural internship to finish it with Ami. And after I came here, it was really funny because after my internship, I was asked to continue if I would like to, and I said, okay, what do we have to do? And she said the work comes in twofold. There is architecture, and then there is also the management of the space, which includes making beds and this and this and this and that. So this whole space has so many things happening around it. We have to get the rooms ready for the guests. We have to get the check-in and the check-out ready. We have to get the invoices ready. We have to plan events, get the social media posters on. We have to, once the events are starting, there's the whole day that works with getting the people in, making sure everything's okay, getting the, whoever's the artist or whatever happens, all of that. So there's a lot of things happening here on a daily basis. So that was my job description, and I took it very happily because there's so much soul to this place that it, and there's so many different people coming in every day. It's actually much nicer than any other architectural offices. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ പോയി ഇങ്ങനെ ലാപ്ടോപ്പിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇരിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. ഇവിടെ വന്നാൽ ലാപ്ടോപ്പിൽ ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് പോലും ഇരിക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, ബിക്കോസ് വേറെ കുറേ പണി തരും. So in that way it's really nice. Every time we have an event, it's not like we are replicating another event. It's actually getting to know the artist, and we collaborate with small businesses, and we make sure that somehow or the other, whatever principles we have, or what Ami has been thinking of since she started the place, we try to make it, we apply it into however we get the events to go on, or any other activity that we have here. So in that way, it's not some dried up corporate stuff that I would hate. In a way, it's much more soulful and nicer because we get to connect with so many people, genuinely connect with them.
Once the house was completed, we weren't sure what we were going to do with the property. So it was after that I wanted to take a break from architecture and explore on my own. So I took 1 year off work, and I was traveling till 2020 when COVID started. And when I came back, it was summer of 2020, and I was still like just getting back to architecture, getting back to work. And then this space was there. So I used to come here and work every day, because just for a separation from my home. And I would just like freelance architecture work and just starting off. So as I would sit and work here, a lot of my friends also were interested to, find a space where they can come off, because everyone was working from home at that point. So that's how it started. So I would have people come by during the daytime, and then sometimes we would just have get-togethers here, and it started slowly, and then I felt like we should be doing more with this space. So the house is designed to have 4 bedrooms. So my first thing was, so the traveling actually influenced this decision quite a bit. When I was traveling, I stayed in a lot of hostels and homestays, and I think the concept of co-living really stuck with me. I wanted to create a space in Calicut that was kind of like a community, and where people can come and like from all walks of life and all age groups, and be able to come into this one space and interact without any judgment, or just kind of have a space to be themselves, basically. So it started like that. I wasn't sure if it will reach anywhere. So I wanted to build this space. I wanted to build the the people who come here, I want people to be able to meet and interact. So the only way I could do that was by giving the rooms alone, and all the common spaces, which were the kitchen and the living space and everything, was shared. So initially I remember a lot of people were confused because they're not used to sharing a space with other people. So that was one thing. But then as I was getting more and more guests, so again, like it was through Airbnb platform, I was getting guests, and then a lot of people actually started appreciating this, and they felt this sort of comfort in having other people around and sharing it.
So on the most busiest day at Vettaths, എവിടെ തിരിഞ്ഞാലും തീരെ കണക്റ്റഡ് അല്ലാത്തൊക്കെ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ടാവും. For example, in the deck we'll have people who come, we can book the deck on an hourly rate. So there'll be people who come there and sit and work. പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് തിരിഞ്ഞാൽ കുറച്ച് ഗസ്റ്റ് ഇങ്ങനെ നടന്ന് പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകുന്നുണ്ടാവും. All the 3 rooms are different guests. Some people will be working in the kitchen, they'll be making food. Then we have co-workers walking up and down. Then we have us and our friends maybe who come here and work. So this house is always full of so many activities happening with so many different people. It's really a lot of fun to watch it and to see like so much energy in the house. So that's another thing that I really enjoy. And we also have the house is designed in a way that if somebody wants to have their privacy, that is also maintained. And if they don't want to, they want to speak or not speak, they can really choose and apply that, and there's absolutely no problem. And the people who come here also actually respect each guest and each co-workers whatever privacy that they want, and nobody's really forced to have interaction. Appam angantha oru karyangal where people are actually, they have the freedom to exercise what they want, to have a quality time in the space. That's something we really respect, and we want to keep moving as we go ahead with this concept.
So currently Vettaths runs as again mainly a community space, but main functions are co-working, co-living, and we also have events. So as part of the like co-working, we have people who come from like morning to evening on a daily basis. It depends. We don't have like very fixed, rigid seating. We do have a few tables, but we are mostly looking for people who are open to having like moving around and interacting with people. As co-living, right now we give 3 rooms. I keep 1 room for myself, so the other 3 rooms is what we give out for homestay. And then we have events from time to time. So we like to be able to curate our events. So we have events which are hosted by Vettaths. So a lot of that comes with collaborations. So another thing we're trying to do is also interact with people, artists and other professions which are already in Calicut, and just to kind of bring that out as well. So we've had musical performances, we've had workshops, and monthly we try to have a movie screening too. So we're trying to also bring in the film culture here. So again, we have like our publicity is mainly via Instagram. We have a website too. So we keep updating that, and anything, we are always open to new ideas. We try to see if we can bring in new things here. Currently, actually, I think the beginning of next month, we are having a workshop, a makeup workshop. So again, this is a collaboration with a local artist who is a makeup artist in Calicut. So it's just like kind of mixing with new things and trying out different things in Calicut. 1 month ago, we started something called Vettaths Talks, where we're trying to bring in people, different kinds of people who can just speak about topics that they know more about. And just again, like it's not a very formal seating, but very informally explain and discuss amongst people. Another thing is we have people coming to stay with us. So people come from all over the world. That's again another very nice cultural exchange that we get. We learn a lot here, so we don't have to actually get out on anything to meet people. People come here, and I think that's also been always interesting and keeps changing. It's never been very stagnant here. So what is actually different about this space, how it stands out from the other places here, is that it's not like a typical hotel or anything like that. It's kind of like people who come here are expected to take care of themselves. Like something as basic as wash your own dishes, clean your own room, like simple things like that. Like just if you're messing something up, you sort it out. So that is something we've had to like slowly explain to guests, because they're used to the hotel concept where you go and you leave things as they are and you're not picking up after yourself. But the common spaces are shared, so it is very important that everything that is kept, we maintain that cleanliness, we maintain how the space is. We only have someone who comes in the morning to help out with the cleaning, but after that, the whole day, we are only managing the space.
Space itself came to be very organically. As the day goes forward, we decide, okay, usually it's all Ami, she'll come one fine day and say, okay, we need this, and then that happens. Now we have notice boards, we have a hammock hanging around. Tomorrow I don't know if we'll end up putting a swimming pool also. We have no idea what will happen. But in that organic flow, actually anybody here, we are good with it. So let's say it's full of surprises. Let's see. Even the guests are very surprising. We have no idea. So it's a lot of fun to interact and mingle with different people all the time. So that part is there, and we want to make sure that the guests don't just stay here, that they get to see Calicut in its authentic way, or so we make sure that we help in whatever way we can, so so that they have in നാട്ടിൽ ഇവിടുത്തെ റൂട്ട്സ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് അതൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യലും അതിനെപ്പറ്റി പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കലും അവർ തിരിച്ച് ഇങ്ങോട്ടേക്ക് അതൊക്കെ പറയല്ലോ. സോ ദർ ഇസ് ഓൾവേസ് എൻ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ഓഫ് കൾച്ചർ ഹിയർ വിച്ച് ഇസ് റിയലി നൈസ്. We had a guest who came from Switzerland. There was a guest who stayed for a month, and it was so nice to know the things that's not in the media. We actually get to know how they live their lives there, and you know what kind of problems they face or what is nicer. And there's always that comparative, conversations happening all the time. And because the people, Ami who runs this space has no biases of any kind, it's nice to have that freedom for all the people who come here. So we don't usually even say, there's no discrimination or anything like any, gender, nothing, no problems like that. So it's very nice to see people in their full spirit here at Vettaths.